The Frituals, written and performed by author Caitlin Costello. Chapter 24. Paulo. Go. I will be here, waiting for the signal. This will work. Don't worry, Lyra says, giving Paulo a little shove. Go get your friend. Paulo takes a step forward, then another, and another, gaining momentum as he gains courage. He spreads his hands out wide and mutters something in Elvish. A stone spear, made of a single piece of rock, launches itself into his hand, and large boulders begin to spin around him as he runs. The first sentry sees him coming and barely gets out a cry before a rock goes spinning into his chest. The next man who appears gets a shot out, and Paulo can hear all of them running through the camp at him. He shouts again and again in his mind, hoping she will hear, and she won't block him from her mind. Shauna, where are you? Paulo? She asks, finally hearing him. Paulo, what are you doing here? Get out of here! Leave! No, he says resolutely as his stones fly at men all around him, slamming into their heads, necks, arms, and chest. I swore I would protect you, and then I left you. I told you to go, just like I'm telling you to get out of here right now. I left you, Shauna, and we need each other. I can't leave you because I promised to protect you. I'm not going to let the same thing that happened to my brother happen to you. A guard gets through the ring of rocks and grabs at Paulo, but he slashes at him with the spear. The man flinches, and the flinch is his death. The rock hits him in the back of the head, crushing his skull. I'm sorry to break up this little reunion, but I must cut in, Damien shouts, his voice ringing in their heads louder than an avalanche. Paulo cries out, clapping his hands to his ears in pain. His ring of stones fall, and he's left unguarded. No! Shauna yells. Paulo, run! But he can't. Seconds after the rocks fall, Damien's oily black magic wraps Paulo up and carries him through the camp like a trophy on display. Shauna. I slump down next to the post they had tied me to. I sit in the middle of the camp on display. Always on display. The little magic human trapped. What had he been thinking? Did he honestly think you could save me by marching into the middle of the camp in broad daylight? I shake my head. Whatever Paulo had been doing, he hadn't been thinking. He'd come in strong with his boulders thudding into soldiers, but it didn't last long. Even if he had tried to talk to me, I would have told him to stay away. It was not the right moment. But would it ever be? It was stupid. I let hope get to me for a moment. I felt the thrill of it fill my chest like a rushing waterfall, but then, like the water cascading away, the feeling fell, leaving me full of dread. I couldn't do that to myself. Push those thoughts away. If Damien didn't break me, thoughts like that would. You have to be strong, I tell myself. Stronger than a mountain. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a familiar face peeking through the tent flaps. Philippe? I whisper carefully so that no one else hears me. Philippe, what is happening? He glances over at me, clearly wanting to speak, but unsure of himself. I look around too, but no one is paying attention to us. Philippe hurries over and lifts me to my feet, and before I can move to stop, he wraps me up in a tight hug. God, Shauna, what are we going to do? I hate seeing you like this, he says, looking deep into my eyes. Why can't you just cooperate? It would save you from so much pain. I manage to wiggle my way free and hesitate before saying, Philippe, you know I can't do that. Do you honestly think that I am going to sit idly by? Or even help these monsters to destroy all we have ever known? Because that is what they are, Philippe. They are monsters, plain and simple. He tries to speak, and I run over his words with my own. They are destroying our lives as they slowly take over. They have our families locked up in cells under the city. Did they tell you that? They don't just have our families, but anyone who didn't get away from the city. They hurt my father just to get me to talk. And you want me to join them? You expect me to ignore all of that? If you do, you don't know me. Philippe looks almost ashamed for a moment. He won't look at me, that was for sure. Shauna, I don't agree with what they do. But you need to think about your survival. No, we need to think about who we are and what we believe in. I believe in my powers, in my family, and that everything these people do is wrong. If you agree with them, okay, but we cannot speak anymore. Shauna, please, listen to me. I hate to see you get hurt. I can't help but huff. This boy would never listen to common sense. Get used to it. I'm sure they won't let up anytime soon. Now where is Paulo? He looks away. You've changed, Shauna. It's only been a week. I don't understand how you can act like you feel nothing. I feel a stab of pain this time. It's more of a mental pain than physical, but I still need to fight to keep my face blank. It was long enough. I need to be able to take care of myself. I can't waste my time on deciding whether or not I still want to be with you. I miss you. I roll my eyes and walk around my post. I'm trying to act like I don't care, but this is hurting. They are questioning Paulo now. He says quietly. I was sent away. I stopped my pacing. Is he okay? How are they doing it? I don't know. They sent me away after. He pauses, trying to get me to look at him. As you said, it's only been a week, so don't look at me like that. That was as close as he was going to get to me admitting I miss him. He is my friend. He's the only person that might have an idea of what this has been like for me. I look down at the ground, the grass around the post that has been worn down in a circle from my pacing. Look, you will be okay. So will your friend. I just want to help you and be by your side. It's just hard right now. I glare at him. Maybe soon it'll be more convenient for you. I snap, turning away and walking as far as the cords will let me. I see him reaching out of the corner of my eye when Damien's voice rips through the air. Philippe, step away from that girl if you know what's good for you. Philippe jumps back like a trained dog. Where is Paulo? I snap, disgusted by everything around me. Damien looks off to the side and nods, and Paulo is thrust forward by soldiers. He stays upright for a moment before crumbling to the ground. He doesn't look like he's in too rough of shape. Nothing like I do. He has a few bruises on his arms and chest, a black eye and a split lip, and like me, a slice on his arm from the truth blade. He's just like you, manipulative with his words. I want to open my mouth to release a snappy comeback when a coil of oily black magic floats a little closer. On that cue, I snap my jaws shut. It seems as if we might be learning something. I swear, if I weren't tied up, this man, this monster, this thing would have a hard time standing there over top of me. What is it, pet? What empty threat do you want to try and throw at me this time? Damien asks, kicking Paulo in the chest, knocking the wind out of him before stepping on his stomach on his way over to me. I glare at him, picturing water coming up, flowing out of the ground, flowing up his legs, spilling into his mouth. I would pour it in his eyes, his mouth, his nose, his ears. He would cough and splutter and gag, and I would drown him. I would flood his lungs so no air would ever fill them again. I would watch his face turn red and then blue as he tried to force the water from his body. What? Nothing to say? You shock me. I have things to say, believe me. I just know how to play my cards. Oh, do you now? You don't seem to have the winning hand right now. I look down at Paulo as he's gasping for air. I glance back up at Damien. So now you have us. Now what will you do with us? I probe, feeding Damien something so he would keep talking. Oh, you know. You should have guessed by now. We will create our own Frituals. We will match you. I'm only keeping you right now because of the information each of you has. Damien continues talking about a dark set of Frituals. Get ready. Paulo mouths. Get ready? Get ready for what? I think. He closes his eyes for a moment, and when he opens them, they flash a deeper green for a moment. Now. We are going now. Damien glances around as a vibration seems to buzz through the air. What is that? Damien asks, glancing around. He looks at us, a glint of fear in his eyes as we all recognize the buzz of energy from someone casting. Stop. Stop that. He snaps. That isn't us, I say, just as confused as him. Who's casting? Is it Philippe? He hasn't done anything since he had dissolved the water whip. I don't believe you. You know it isn't us. It's too far from us, and you would have known the moment we embraced any magic. Paulo coughs, sitting up behind Damien. Then who is? Damien snaps, pushing him away. You. Find Philippe, now. Get him from his tent. He runs off. The soldiers, distracted by their commander for a moment, don't look at us as they run after Damien. Paulo stands up slowly, then hurries to my side. We're getting out of here, he whispers, hurriedly in my ear as his fingers fumble over the ropes binding my hands together. But how? You do realize we are directly in the middle of their camp, right? Someone has gained an attitude since you've been here, haven't you? I don't answer. Okay. That person out there is a friend. I'll explain later. There, just hold the cord like this, he says, lightly wrapping the cord back around my wrist and placing the end in my hand. They'll think you're still tied up. Be ready to run. He lies back down on the ground, pretending to be in pain. Philippe comes running over. Hurry, Shauna. I know you are planning something. Run. Get away. This place is terrible, and I hate seeing you here. He takes a knife and slices the rope, nicking my skin. I'm sorry, I'm rushing. You need to leave. Get a head start. I rub my wrist where the blade nicked me. No, it's fine. Thank you. No, you be careful. I can't imagine Damien will be happy with you for this. I look at his face for a moment, unmarked by the ceremony, but bruised by the people I was leaving him to. I glance at Paulo. Shauna, I know what you were thinking, but we need to get going. We will need him, Paulo. He might be fire, my ceremony. What? Fine. We'll figure all this out when we get to safety. I nod and we start to run. A gale is starting up as we are talking, pulling the tent lines taut, causing them to lean and pull. This way. The three of us move, heads down, avoiding the eyes of all we pass. When we reach the edge of the tent line, we pause. Where are we going? I ask. Before he has answered, a voice cries out, Shauna, stop! That's not me! I whip around to see Philippe running at us, flanked by two guards. That's Damien! He shouts, flinching as two boulders take out the guards to the left and the right. It takes me about 5 seconds for me to process that there are two Philippes. I glance back and forward between the two. Well, seeing as Loverboy through my cover, Philippe/Damien growls, I might as well stop you here. He fashions a black blade, bringing it down to my wrist as a boulder whizzes by, missing him by inches. It flips back around and nails him in the chest. I'm trying to stumble away. This isn't an actual blade. Once it made contact with my skin, it slides in, melting with my arm, burning red hot. What the hell? Go, move. I feel the fire seeping under my skin, and I look down and see black veins, just like what had covered Damien's skin, spreading across mine. Paulo, he poisoned me. My world is moving, undulating like a child carrying a large glass of water. I feel my legs start to give out. Then I see Philippe's face swim into my peripheral vision. I try to fight to get away. Is he real? Hey, it's me. It's me, Philippe says, trying to get a better grip on me as I slip to the ground. My world fading away for the second time in a week. Till All the Stars Are Found, my newest book is now available for pre-order. This young adult science fiction novel will be published on March 6th, 2021. Click the link in the show notes to see where you can pick up the book today. While I have you here, I wanted to share the back matter of the book. Joining the Galactic Garrison was the best decision that Ada Gomez ever made for herself. Or so she thought. Orphaned with her brother Sarkis in the foster system, who she can't claim custody of, a guardian who is days from kicking her out, and no job. There is nothing left for her on planet Earth. The only thing going for her is that she has made it. After 3 years of work, Ada has qualified to begin training for the esteemed Special Operations Team on the Galactic Garrison Space Station. Joining the Spec Ops Division is a chance to start over, to make a name for herself. And if she plays her cards right, maybe Ada can get Sarkis back. But her journey is just beginning. Being in the Spec Ops isn't easy. It isn't supposed to be. Any sign of weakness must be squashed. Fear is the devil, and hesitation is worse than death. but some of the training doesn't add up, and any semblance of structure? It looks like Ada left that back on Earth. Ada and her team do their best to put the pieces together and figure out what exactly is going on, and roll with the punches, both mentally and physically, to come out on top. Little do they know, the hardest test is yet to come. Because this year, everything is different. Until All the Stars Are Found, a young adult science fiction novel, is now available for pre-order. Its publication date is March 6th, 2021. Hi everybody, this is Caitlin Costello, the author and narrator of The Frituals. If you've enjoyed this podcast so far, please leave a review or a rating where you listened. It really helps to get the podcast in front of more people. If you can't possibly wait for another episode of The Frituals, fear not, because the full audiobook is now available. A slew of stores, including Google Play, Apple, HiBooks, Scribd, Chirp, Kobo, Walmart, audiobooks.com, and Nook Audiobooks. And it's being added to more stores every single day. It's also available at your local library, so if you request it from your library, they should be able to get it into their system fairly quickly. I am running a sale currently on signed print editions of the book, and these are 20% off using code SPOOKY through October 31st. That is code SPOOKY through October 31st from CaitlinCostello.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. This has been a production of The Frituals, written and performed by Caitlin Costello. Text copyright 2018 to Caitlin Costello. Production copyright 2020 Caitlin Costello.